Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Cleveland Sports 360 right here at streamingsportstalk.com. It is September 30th, our last day in September, and it is a little chilly, but a beautiful night out there. Let's get right to it, folks. We've had a great weekend with our Indians and the Browns. I'll let LG take that away. LG, take it away.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Cleveland Sports 360 show. I am your host, LG, the voice of Cleveland Sports. And, baby, we got a lot to talk about this week. We've got some big-time wins in the state of Ohio. Not only did our Browns and our Cleveland Indians come through, we got the Ohio State Buckeyes, the return of Braxton Miller with a big victory over Wisconsin. It makes Urban Meyer look like a genius. A lot of people were wondering, should we play Kenny Guyton or should we go back to Braxton Miller? Well, Miller produced and he got us a win, and the Ohio State Buckeyes remain undefeated. How about this Brian Hoyer, ladies and gentlemen, the quarterback for your Cleveland Browns, your first place 2-2 Cleveland Browns facing off against the Buffalo Bills this Thursday night right here at First Energy Stadium, and Glicken LG is predicting another victory for our Cleveland Browns. I see this one coming in around, I'm going to say 24 to maybe 10 for the Buffalo Bills. The Browns should come out on top 24 to 10. The Bills don't have anything except a running game, and this Cleveland Browns defense is doing a spectacular job stopping the run. We have not allowed 100-yard rushing against this defense in 4 games. We stopped Adrian Peterson for 88 yards in Minnesota on his own home turf. This Browns defense, like DeQuill Jackson says, is not going to let anybody rush the football against them. And then you got your Cleveland Indians finishing the what a finish, huh, folks? Just think if this Indians team could have beat the Detroit Tigers 2 times this season, 2 times more this season, we would be sitting on top of the American League Central Division. We missed by 1 game. We finished 1 game behind the Detroit Tigers, who finished their season with a 3-game losing streak. Remember what happened to the Tigers last year playing in the World Series and were totally swept without even winning one. You got me talking football and base, I'm all confused. Hey, they didn't win 1 game in the World Series. Can you imagine what happens here Wednesday night in front of a sold-out crowd at Progressive Field? The Cleveland Indians will be facing either the Texas Rangers or the Tampa Bay Rays. I say bring on those Rangers. Let's have our way with them like we did when we swept them 4 games in a row earlier this season. Glicken doesn't see a problem with this tribe taking care of the Texas Rangers Wednesday night right here at Progressive Field. If you're not having a ticket, it's a little bit too late. They got plenty of fan support for this one, people. We got a complete sellout. Can you believe it? All season long, the Cleveland Indians were talking about their attendance problems. Put a wild card game on the table. Within hours, this game totally sold out. You can sit in the outfield for $130 a ticket. Guess what, folks? They're gone. The entire stadium's going to be packed with people that are starved to bring some kind of a championship back to Cleveland. It's been years, decades. I mean, people have lived and died without even witnessing a winning Cleveland Indians World Series team, or, for that matter, a Cleveland Browns team that has winning seasons. We have generations of people, excuse me, that never saw a Cleveland Browns football game, a team that produced a winning season. I can see it coming this year. You got to remember, you coined the phrase right here at ClevelandSports360.com. You can follow us on Facebook. Look up our Facebook page. That's Cleveland Sports 360 Facebook. Go there, like our page. Check out USA Sports 360 on Facebook while you're at it. Like that page. Follow us at Twitter at CLEV Sports 360. You're going to love it. We keep you posted. We keep it rolling. We keep fresh content coming at you every single day. We keep you abreast of what's happening on the Cleveland sports scene. And I'm excited because it's in Hoyer we trust, because Brandon Whedon was a bust. That's the new phrase that we coined right here at ClevelandSports360.com. Cleveland, we got a new quarterback. It looks pretty good. I know a lot of fans are a little apprehensive, thinking, could this be another repeat of the Derek Anderson fiasco that happened here years ago? But I want to tell you, no. Take that right out of your mind. This is Brian Hoyer, a different player, a different caliber of football player, a player that had the privilege of studying under one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, Mr. Tom Brady. For 3 seasons, Brian Hoyer was like a sponge sitting next to Tom Brady in the meetings, sitting next to Tom Brady on the bench when the coaches were going over the plays, working under Bill Belichick, one of the all-time great football coaches that we ran out of Cleveland when he was the coach of the Cleveland Browns. This Brian Hoyer possesses the brains and the know-how to get the job done. He studied under one of the best. He's got one of the best quick releases in the game. He helps a weak offensive line protect his butt because he can get rid of the football so quickly. Hey, don't forget, folks, the phone lines are open here, 216-672-4300. You want to talk some Indians baseball, some Browns football, you name it, we're here to talk about it. Ohio State Buckeyes, call in, give us your opinion on what you think of Chazinski taking Whedon out of the game, because he was cleared to get back into playing football today, folks. But Coach Chazinski said Brian Hoyer will be the starter against the Buffalo Bills this Thursday night, and it's all on Brian Hoyer's merits. Get this, folks. Hoyer has thrown for 590 yards in the 2 games he's played. 269 yesterday, 321 on his first game over there in the Minnesota Vikings, which was 2 wins in a row. He's got a quarterback rating of 103.9 yesterday coming out of that Bengals game. The Browns defense is now ranked number 3 overall, number 4 against the rush. And I got to tell you, folks, when it comes to playing football in Cleveland on Thursday night, the Buffalo Bills better have a better game plan than they tried to use yesterday against the Baltimore Ravens. Even though they came out with a win, it's not the Ravens they're playing tomorrow night. I think we got a caller. Caller, can you hear me, man?
LG, it's Joe.
Hey, Joe Monaco, all the way from Nashville. Hey, what do you think's going on here in the city of Cleveland this weekend, Joe? We got a Browns victory for 2 in a row. We got the Indians finishing their season with a 10-game winning streak, the hottest team in baseball heading into these playoffs. And the best part about it is we got a slumping Detroit Tigers team that lost their last 3 games of the season, man. What do you see happening here Wednesday night, Joe? Who do you think would be the better opponent for the Cleveland Indians, the Tampa Bay Rays or the Texas Rangers?
I have to say the Texas Rangers, LG, and the reason being is that the Indians have played well against them this year, surprisingly, and Tampa's been giving the Indians a hard time this year. I'm thinking if what's going on is if the Rangers win tonight, I think Matt Garza will pitch against the Indians on Wednesday night if the Rangers win tonight. We have not faced him, I believe, since 2010. And we're 2-4 career against. He's 2-4 against us. So I would like that. But if the Rays win, Alex Cobb would be starting Wednesday night, and he's 1-0 this year, and he's 2-1 lifetime in 3 games.
Well, Joe, we're going to put Danny Salazar out on the mound. It's a totally sold-out Progressive Field. It only took a few hours for the Indians to sell out this wild card game. What do you think of a young Danny Salazar walking into this atmosphere, playoff-bound the Cleveland Indians at Progressive Field? You saw it during the 90s, Joe. You saw it a couple of times in the 2000s. What do you think is going to happen when Danny Salazar takes to the mound Wednesday night here at Progressive Field?
I think he's got the composure. He doesn't get wrapped. I think the key for Danny is to keep the ball down low in his zone. And if he gets his fastball up, whoever we're playing against is going to wail on it. because he throws so hard. But I think his composure and I think his maturity for his age, I think he can handle it. I was going to make a comparison of Jared Wright back in '97, but we never go to wild card. We had divisional games, and there was games that spared, you can say. But this is a one-game playoff. I think he could do it. But if he's not in the groove, guarantee you're going to see Tito start cranking Zach McAllister, cranking up Corey Kluber, just cranking them up and taking them out. There's a problem,
Well, I got to tell you, Joe, I heard Francona today. He said he's going to go with a 9-man bullpen for this wild card game. That gives him 9 guys to turn to in the case of a pinch. I doubt one of those guys would be named Chris Perez. I think we've probably seen the last of Chris Perez in a Cleveland Indians uniform. What's your take on that, Joe?
I think he's done. I think it wouldn't be surprised if the Indians release him because now he has no trade value. And the way he's done this year, especially his last week and just gave up on his team, I don't think anybody wants him out there for a trade. There's no trade value for him. I think they're just going to fortunately have to release him.
Well,
but I do believe that that's going to be it's been a bad spot this year with Castano not pitching up to where he's usually pitching, and Perez, not having a setup guy. They're messing up in the trouble that he had off the field too. But I think the Indians management, the ownership, probably had enough.
Not only that, Joe, I think he's due a $7 million payday next year, isn't he?
Yeah.
$8
billion. I don't think nobody's going to pay him that kind of money, man. The Indians won't pay him that kind of money.
Not with the year that he had this year. It's true, folks. Chris Perez, he used to be a great closer for the Cleveland Indians, but as every athlete faces it, sooner or later that comes to an end, and I think it came to an end already with Chris Perez. He came into the season with some shoulder injuries, if you recall that, Joe, coming out of spring training. He missed the Team USA because of the shoulder injuries. He couldn't participate in that. He might have exaggerated his problems a little bit more with the marijuana shipment to his dog. He lost face in front of the Cleveland's fans, and then he had the gall before all this to call out the Cleveland fans and say, why aren't you down here supporting your ball club? You know what I mean, Joe?
Yeah, I think he's just burned too many bridges, and it's unfortunate. And the key thing, too, I believe, LG, has got to be his velocity drop. I remember when and I think you can probably, back me up on this, but I remember when he first came over from St. Louis, he was throwing 97, 98 miles an hour.
Right.
And I think this year, I think he hit maybe 94 or 95. So he's lost maybe 4 to 5 miles off his fastball. Now, is it because of injury? We don't know. But it seemed like he's been throwing a lot more breaking stuff this year instead of relying on blowing smoke, past the hitters.
Yeah, and that's where he was good, when he was blowing it by him. But I think you're right, Joe. I think maybe it is have something to do with his shoulder injury that he had at the beginning of the year. And you know how much wear and tears on your arm. Look at Pistano. He's another guy. Vinny Pistano is one of the best setup men in all of baseball. He started out the year looking pretty good, and then he suffered a little bit from the elbow problem. He was trying to convince everybody it didn't have anything to do with the Tommy John surgery he had well before he came to the Cleveland Indians. But, Joe, you get an arm injury and your job is to blow that smoke by him. and you can't do it. Your worth is dwindling away. That's the way it is.
And I think by way the what the situation happened last week, I should say, when Perez went into Francona's office and stuck his head in there and said, "Take me out of here. I don't want to close anymore." I think that was pretty much the last straw.
Oh, absolutely, man. What good is he if he can't be the closer? This is the role that he was in. This is the role he's been in for the last few seasons with the Cleveland Indians. And once you lose that role, you're worthless to this organization. So I just think it's a matter of time before we see unless something miraculous happens, Joe, if this guy can all of a sudden pop back and say I'm back and have an outstanding outing, but going into the playoffs, especially a one-game playoff, Joe, that's what kind of bothers me. I don't really like the wild card. I know it's given us an opportunity to get into fall play, but one game, man, we better be on our game Wednesday night, and we have to make a statement. And we have to make a statement early. But Joe, you got to admit, man, we got a lot of key components to this Indians offense, and it's amazing the way that some of these guys are picking up the other guys that struggle a little bit, man. I mean, Giambi coming in and having 2 pinch hit walk-off game winners this season for the Cleveland Indians has been a huge inspiration to these young guys. And I say young guys, even though these guys aren't that young, but Giambi's 42 years old. You got to be impressed with what you saw coming from a Jason Giambi, don't you think, Joe?
Oh, his leadership role. I mean, he's just a pro, you know, and I wish we would have gotten him a couple of years ago, you know, when he was available still and been here earlier. But I tell you what, his presence this year in the clubhouse and on the field, and Tito strategically put him in pitch hitting spots or start spots, and he's come through. You know, I mean, he's a veteran, he's a pro, and I tell you what, he's going to be. I think this guy's going to be a good manager coming up the ranks when he's ready to retire from the field.
Oh, absolutely, man. He's definitely got a future in the coaching or the managing. I don't know if he'll jump right into managing or they'll make him a hitting coach but Jason Giambi's a good guy, man, and you know what? I know he wants to come back and play again next year. It'd be interesting to see if the Indians offer him another deal, Joe. And he already made the statement that he'd like to return next season. So it's going to be interesting to see, especially if the Indians can make a run in these playoffs and actually do something with it. And Giambi continues to contribute offensively for this team, man. It's going to be huge.
Yep. If he's healthy. You know, if he's healthy, I would. Why not? You know, I mean, if he stays healthy and he's out there and he's a good pinch hitter coming off the bench or a spot start, you know, why not? And yeah, I don't see why not. I think getting one more year out of him would help him and help the Indians, I should say. Getting back to something real quick, LG. We talk about the Detroit Tigers struggling. Man, can you just imagine if the Indians would have gotten a couple more wins in their season series against them? Coming down to the wire last week, there could have been. I mean, we only finished one game out of first place.
Exactly, that's what I just said. I mean, maybe it was before you called in, but I was just saying we missed it by one game of tying for the 2 more wins, Joe. 2 more wins. If we would have played the Detroit Tigers like we did in 2012. During the 2013 season, we would be the American League Central champions, man. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. 2 games short we came up missing. And you know what? It snuck up on a lot of people, man. I mean, a lot of people were thinking, let's get to 90 wins. When we got to 91 wins, Joe, that's pretty huge, don't you think?
I agree. I mean, nobody expected our ball club to hit 92 wins this year. And I mean, I was hoping we could get in the playoffs, but, you know, I mean, in baseball, you never know what can happen, but it's just, I mean, the way the Indians lineup was, and then there were some struggles, and they were like Team Streak. They'd hit great and win 6, 7 in a row, and they won't lose that much. And then, you know, it was down a consistent flow, but these guys never quit, and that's because the manager, and I knew that was a great move. When we got Tito, we were blessed to get him because he's a great baseball manager, and you can see his imprint on his ball club.
Yeah, and he's relatively cheap. We give him a bucket of bubble gum every night, and he chews it in the dugout there like nobody's business, and it keeps him happy. But you know what, Joe? I feel like sending the Toronto Blue Jays a nice thank you card because not only did they send us Yan Gomes earlier this season, who really turned into a force behind the plate as well as offensively at the plate. Yan Gomes came from the Toronto Blue Jays. What a find he was. And they helped us by knocking down these Tampa Bay Rays a couple of games last week, man. That was huge, too. Don't you agree?
I totally agree. I was been saying this all year, LG. That was Antonetti's best trade, I would say. Well, I mean, I have to say that, but Ubaldi was struggling since he's been here till the second half of the season. but he's turned into his old form. Well, Ubaldo is, but my comparison is like if it wasn't happening for Ubaldo, this trade would have probably been the best trade, Jan Gomes and Micah Bias for Ismail Rogers. I mean, that's a steal of the year right there.
Joe,
No doubt about it.
I wrote an article last week, probably towards the beginning of the week, and I wanted to say the unsung hero for the Cleveland Indians this season has to be Mickey Callaway, man. This guy comes in as the Tribe's pitching coach, and he took a starting rotation that was very, very questionable coming out of spring training. Nobody thought this Tribe pitching staff, the starters, were going to have the success. We were surprised of all the problems we had in the bullpen, but we thought we were going to have a lot of problems with this starting pitching rotation, who happen to be some of the best pitchers in the entire Major League Baseball ever since the All-Star break, man. What do you make of this Mickey Callaway, Joe? Hell of a find he was, too.
I totally agree, LG. I mean, I don't know if it was Tito's, that Tito's had someone in mind or someone that he met through the Indians organization. But I tell you what, it's a great pick because this guy knows how to communicate with these younger pitchers. He knows how to correct them, and he knows his communication between these guys are like on par with everybody on that team, on the pitching staff. And it was a great pickup, to have him as a pitching coach. And like again, Tito knows baseball. He knows his guys that he wants. And it's a blessing to have him sitting in our dugout, man. A two-time world champion manager with a great coaching staff, and you can see it just where is their imprints on these ball players, and they've done a phenomenal job. And it wouldn't surprise me if Tito gets AL Manager of the Year.
Oh, he's definitely got to be right up there in the top running, and you got to admit, taking a guy back into consideration like Jan Gomes and having a Sandy Alomar as the Indians bench coach, one of the greatest catchers that ever played behind the plate in a Cleveland Indians uniform, man, helping this Jan Gomes out defensively as well as offensively. I mean, you got to contribute some of that coaching know-how to Sandy Alomar for taking a young guy like Jan Gomes and helping him work through a couple of the issues he had, getting his feet set right for the throws down to second base. Gomes turned out to have one of the quickest releases and one of the most accurate arms in the Major League Baseball from behind the plate. Wouldn't you agree? Sandy Alomar had to play a little bit of role into bringing this kid along too, man.
Yeah, I agree. And you took the comparison with Carlos. I mean, we love Carlos, man, but I think his future is going to be more down at first base side because, I mean, you got to admit, though, LG, Santana was struggling in some of his starts. I mean, it's like he couldn't block pitches in the dirt. He was just in a funk. And I'm saying with Jan Gomes, he's a total package, man. He can hit. He gets on base. He hits home runs. He's got a great arm behind the plate, and he's a great defensive catcher. And that guy could be sitting back there like Sandy Alomar was like for the Indians in the 90s.
Yeah, and we got the guy for next to nothing, Joe. It wasn't the primary trade. He came as a package deal with the other guy. And I got to tell you, I heard today a rumor, and I don't know how true this is, Joe, but I'm pretty sure the Tribe's sitting down and trying to work out a new deal with Scott Kazmir. Now, here's a guy, nobody knew how he was going to pitch coming into the 2013 season because he hadn't done it in a while, man. What do you think of Kazmir the other night, man? This guy was unstoppable as well.
I tell you what, LG, I was hoping that he would be the dark horse on a pitching staff and make it out of spring training this year and come out and help out either at the fourth or the fifth spot. And I tell you what, he's excelled, and his velocity on his baseball has come back up. I mean, he's throwing 95, 96, 97 miles an hour now, and it's coming from the left side, and he's healthy again. It's telling you he's recovered from Tommy John, and he's healthy again. And gosh, man, what a blessing to have him going for the left-hand side.
Yeah, it takes, again, I gotta tip my hat to Mickey Callaway, man. This guy just done a phenomenal job turning Ubaldo Jimenez around, man. Look at the struggles that Ubaldo had, and just think, Joe. Last game he went after his 13th win, and he got 13 strikeouts, man. This is a more confident Ubaldo. Mechanically, he's more fit, and it took the keen eye of Terry Francona and Mickey Callaway to figure this out, man, and get, it was just a little bit of an adjustment to get Ubaldo back at how he was used to be pitching. And, everybody must have thought Shapiro lost his nuts when he when he picked Ubaldo in that trade, man. And he gave away 2 future prospects, Alex
White. He was
White.
struggling, LG.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean,
we all know he was struggling since he came over. I don't know if it's an adjustment over to the American League or what, but I tell you what, Mickey Callaway broke the ice with him, and it seems like it's gone hand in hand because in the second half of the season after the All-Star break, he was getting back into some kind of form that he used to pitch, and then when it seemed like when Justin Masterson was out on injury, he just took the role number 1 and he just ran with it.
Yeah, for a while I was thinking, it was a toss-up. Who is the ace of the Cleveland Indians starting rotation? And, I was thinking to myself, it was a toss-up between Masterson and Ubaldo with how good Ubaldo got this thing turned around. And I got to tell you, man, I'm really liking what we're seeing out of Jimenez. I know he had some mechanical difficulties. One of the things was falling off. His lead foot was just going a little too much towards the first baseline, Joe. That's what I heard, and these guys, they worked through it. I mean, you got to give the Indians organization a lot of credit for being as patient as they were with Ubaldo Jimenez, man, because when he was on, he was unbelievably dangerous, and when he was off, oh my goodness, did we pay severely.
It looked like Fausto Roberto Hernandez Carmona's cousin, man,
Right.
He lost it, But it's just, I tell you what, in the All-Star break, his ERA is under 2. I mean, he pitched great into almost the 7th inning with, 13 strikeouts yesterday?
Absolutely, man. It was phenomenal job.
That's, what do you want? I mean, that's our starting staff since the All-Star break. I mean, even the first half, our starting staff, maybe we had some, issues at the 5th and, the 4th and 5th spot. But it's been solid since the All-Star break coming in the second half of the season. And that's what carried the Indians. And, I mean, who would have thought we'd win 10 in a row, close out the season to get a wild card spot? I mean, you had Yankees ahead of us. You had Baltimore, who was playing solid all year. Kansas City surprised me. We knew they were getting good. And Kansas City, those are 3 teams ahead of us already, plus Texas and Tampa.
Well, I got to tell you, Joe, I think these Indians players knew they were going to do it. I think they never lost the confidence. Yep. And I tell you one thing, Nick Swisher, this guy keeps these guys up, man. Nick Swisher is the class clown that makes it light for these players. We all know Swisher's been through this before. He's a veteran that came in. He's got a great leadership role on that bench. He keeps things light. He keeps things active. He keeps these teams, you see him, he put the Goon Squad shirts on all these bench players that we have now, and he deemed the name the Goon Squad for guys like Micah Veals and, some of these other guys that come in and they just do a wonderful job bringing in and platooning these players.
Is that Rayburn, Gomes, Giambi, and Avila's Goon Squad?
I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong. I mean, there might be one or two other guys, but I tell you, Joe, these guys have done a phenomenal job, and you got to give let's face it, right around the All-Star break, you and I both were a little disappointed in the job Antonetti did going out and getting us some more talent, but bringing in that one pitcher he got, nobody really wanted to touch this guy, and he did a phenomenal job.
You're talking about Zepp, right? Rzepski?
Right.
Rzepski? Yeah, that guy from St. Louis you're talking about, right?
Correct. That's him.
I'll tell you what, he's the guy that's going to fall in. He's going to be the setup guy, lefty guy like Ostemacher and like Rafi Perez was next year. Watch.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Hey, Joe, let's just go on hold for a minute. We got to take a commercial break here from the Cleveland Sports 360 show. Stay on the phone, Joe. We're going to come right back and talk a little bit more Indians baseball, okay?
You got it, man.
All right, man. That's Joe Monaco all the way from Nashville, our Cleveland Indians expert. He's been following the tribe his entire life, and nothing gets by Joe Monaco. We'll be right back with more of the Cleveland Sports 360 show right here on StreamingSportsTalk.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another beautiful night. Cleveland Sports 360 with your host, LG. You don't need to listen to me. Got to get him back on there. LG, take it away.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cleveland Sports 360 show. I'm your host, LG, the voice of Cleveland Sports, and on the phone all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, our Cleveland sports expert, Joe Monaco. Joe, you still with us, brother?
You got it, bro.
Okay, Joe, so coming into the wild card game, obviously the Indians are one of the hottest teams in baseball. What do you see happening coming up Wednesday night? Of course, it's hard to predict when we don't really know which team we're playing, but give me a synopsis. What do you think is going to happen this Wednesday night down at Progressive Field? Because this is a playoff atmosphere, Joe, and guys like you and I, we lived through this in the 90s, man, when we went to the World Series. What do you think's going to happen Wednesday night?
I tell you what, there's going to be a buzz of a crowd, just energy going on. It's been 6 years, LG, that the Indians last time they were in the playoffs, 2007, when they swept the Yankees in their first divisional series and all the bugs and everything, and then the AL championship against Harry Francona when we were up 3-1. But there's going to be an energy through that crowd, sellout crowd. They're going to hear it. The players are going to hear it. The Indians are going to hear it, and I think they know they can win. They keep it close. They can either they're going to take charge like against Minnesota. They're going to score big runs, or they're going to be a close game and they're going to come out and pull it out. They don't quit. And I'm thinking about the pitching. If the pitching just keeps them down, like I said, I'd rather face Texas. The Tampa's been much harder against us this year.
Absolutely.
And Indians have done well. I think they got the season series against them. Against Texas.
Not only that, Joe, I think earlier in the season, correct me if I'm wrong, sometime in August, we swept them 4 games in a row, if I'm not mistaken, didn't we?
That's correct. We took the series from them.
Yeah, and, all 4 games, man.
Then we went down to Texas, too, and took 2 out of 3 from them.
Right.
So, I mean, we don't. You know how hard it is, with that team in the last couple of years, how much they've gotten success in the playoffs, got to the World Series and stuff like that, and just,
well,
they're a good team. And
this is not the same Texas Rangers team that it was back then, Joe. I mean, let's face it, they got rid of Josh Hamilton. They made a couple personnel changes that really hurt that Texas Rangers team. Don't you agree?
I agree, and I think what's hurt them this year coming down the stretch, I think being Nelson Cruz being out, he's like a spark plug to that team. And I think with that suspension that he had to go against, that PE suspension from Major League Baseball, I think has really put the Rangers in the last 50 games in a funk because these are catalysts on that team, and I think that's what hurt them. But I believe that if Texas wins tonight, Garza will be pitching against us, and like I said, we haven't seen him since 2010. He's 2-4 against the Indians' lifetime. And I would rather face him because I think
it gives us a 50-50 shot of winning, Joe.
I agree. I mean, Joe Mann's a great manager with Tampa, and Tampa's had success, and I just don't want to see them, man. I would rather have Texas, but we have to play them. We have to play at the best of our abilities to keep the streak going.
Absolutely, man. And that's the thing, too. Tampa's coming off of a 2-game loss out of Toronto. They're going to be a little bit pissed off going against Texas tonight. And I guess we're going to see, man. We're going to see later on tonight which team we're going to face. But I think you're right. I think this Indians team is hungry. I think these guys know what to do. I think you got guys like Nick Swisher, who's been there before. Jason Giambi, obviously, has been there before. Terry Francona, we know for a fact, has been there before. And this is what I said. If you go back and you look at the ClevelandSports360.com site, I said a million times when people were ready to give up on this Cleveland Indians team earlier this year, you guys are not considering the Francona factor. How big is the Francona factor heading into a 1-game wild card chase for the Cleveland Indians, Joe?
I think it's an edge there, and you can see the edge all year long. How he manages, how he plays to win, how his players play for him, and it's just they never quit. And it's a respect thing that the players have for Tito, and he knows how to run his club. He knows. I mean, I haven't seen a manager in a long time, and you agree with me if you think I'm right or wrong, LG. But his pitching moves, out of the bullpen, facing lefty-righties. I mean, he just knows it's like a chess game to him, and he just knows how to make the moves.
Oh, I agree totally. I mean, you're coming off of a guy like Manny Acta, who you were once in a while wondering if the guy still had a pulse. You know, I mean, let's face it. There was times I was thinking, is this guy really for real or what, man? But Francona, like we said, I mean, he didn't get them World Series rings for doing nothing. He's a world-class manager. He knows how to win baseball games. Joe, this doesn't happen very often, especially over the last few seasons. We got to talk a little bit about the Cleveland Browns now, man. I mean, let's face it. We're coming off of a 2-game win streak. We're facing the Buffalo Bills this Thursday night. What an electric time this is going to be for the city of Cleveland. Wednesday night, you got the wild card playoff game with the Cleveland Indians. Thursday night, you got the National Football League. The national spotlight's going to be on First Energy Stadium. The Cleveland Browns taking on the Buffalo Bills. And I got to tell you, Joe Monaco, I'm predicting like a 24 to maybe 10 win for the Cleveland Browns. I got to like what's going on with this Brian Hoyer, you know?
I'll tell you what, LG, the Browns, I mean, since they made this move, and we know you've been an advocate for a quarterback change, and it's come now, and like you said, Coach Chud didn't wait around like a Sherman would have waited around last year. And it's just, he made the right moves, and you know what, Lombardi right now looks like he's smiling right now because he made the right move to fire this kid. I tell you, behind the pocket, he's comfortable. Nothing rattles him. He can move. He doesn't have cement cleats, and he knows how to throw. I mean, his throws are good. He didn't throw any interceptions yesterday. I mean, he threw almost 100 yards to Jordan Cameron yesterday. What a weapon that guy has turned out to be, huh?
Jordan Cameron passed up the great Ozzie Newsome for making the most catches in the first 4 games of any tight end in the Cleveland Browns history. Did you know that, Joe?
No, I did not.
Yeah, Jordan Cameron passed up the great Ozzie Newsome yesterday, man.
Wow, I tell you, this kid is the real deal. I mean, 2 years ago when he came out with USC, and he was behind Benjamin Watson and just learning, but he has really stepped up this year as a weapon. In the NFL, a major threat.
You know, I'm telling you, Joe, Coach Chudzinski came out today and he had his press conference, and he did say that Brandon Whedon was released to return to football duties. He could play football, but he said, we're not going with Brandon Whedon. We are going to go with Brian Hoyer, and it's all based on Brian Hoyer's merits itself. He said Whedon could never be ready for the Buffalo game coming up this Thursday night because there's only one day of full-speed practice. You know what I'm saying, Joe?
Yeah, short week, and because we're playing Thursday night. But I like Brian Hoyer. He's not done anything wrong. He's moved up, and he did it last week against Minnesota in crunch time, in less than 2 minutes to go to get the go-ahead winning touchdown. Yesterday, he moved the ball. He didn't throw any interceptions, and he just made the right throws, and his throws were right there. And I love this kid. I mean, he's come out of nowhere, and the way the Browns defense has been playing. I mean, would you have thought yesterday the Browns defense would only let the Bengals score 6 points?
Yeah, actually, I was, I made a prediction that the Browns were going to win. Actually, I've been right 2 weeks in a row, Joe, and I'm going for 3 in a row. I'm predicting another Browns victory because I got to tell you something, man. This Buffalo Bills team had their way with the Ravens yesterday, but this Ravens defense was not the Cleveland Browns defense, man. We're ranked 4th overall in stopping the run. We've got the 3rd ranked defense overall in the entire National Football League. This Buffalo Bills better come up with a better game plan than trying to run the ball against this Cleveland Browns. They had 203 yards rushing. Joe, we have yet to give up a 100-yard rushing day to any football team, and we shut down the 2012 rushing champion of the NFL with Adrian Peterson. We kept them at 88 yards, man.
That's what I was saying it to somebody. I was sitting next to somebody watching the game yesterday, was a Cincinnati fan. I told him our front line, especially our defensive line, I tell you what, Bart Mingo is going to be a beast.
Yeah, I mean, that was yesterday was Mingo's first NFL start. This kid's getting better each and every game. You got to remember he's coming off the bruised lung injury. That was a heck of a freak accident. I hope Chudzinski learned from that and never puts this kid back on special teams. The speed he has, and I got to tell you, man, the Buffalo Bills don't really have a good passing game, man. And I got to tell you, if this front seven gets electrified, because that there's a special ambiance that happens on a Monday night football game, on a Thursday night football. Anytime you have a night game under those lights at the Cleveland, I want to say the Cleveland Browns Stadium, because that's what I've known it as for years. That's an electric atmosphere, Joe. Don't you agree, man?
I agree, and like I said again, I think that the Browns defense, even yesterday, I would say, and I'm harping on this, but it seemed like the secondary played well.
Joe,
especially this kid Gibson.
Gibson, I love that guy. Man, is he a hard hitter, huh?
Yeah. I mean, he's stepping up. And Hayden played great yesterday. He was covering A.J. Green like a blanket yesterday.
But I got to tell you something. Let's stop right there for a minute, Joe, because one of the biggest improvements I'm seeing in this Cleveland Browns secondary this game yesterday was none other than Buster Skrine. Skrine did a fantastic job, and when you didn't see Joe Hayden covering A.J. Green, who did you see over there? Buster Skrine, man. That's who you see.
And the inside spot.
Skrine is picking it up, man. He's picking up his game, and he has no choice but to pick up his game when you're surrounded with the talent that we're seeing on this Cleveland Browns defense. And I think some of Joe Hayden might be rubbing off on Buster Skrine. You got to remember, Skrine comes from a small school. He came on to the Cleveland Browns. He never faced the caliber of players that he's faced with now. And let's not forget, Joe, Buster Skrine is being thrown against a whole lot more during a football game than these quarterbacks are trying to test Joe Hayden, because obviously they know better than to try to throw the ball Hayden's way. So Buster Skrine is being thrown against 2-1 compared to Joe Hayden. Would you agree?
Yeah, they're picking on him. They're testing him. And I tell you what, he passed the test yesterday.
Let's hope that happens Thursday night, man.
Yeah, Buffalo's got some good wide receivers, but I believe that their confidence is growing on defense. Their defensive line is deep. They can stop the run. I mean, you got Rubin, you got Taylor, and those guys are tough in the middle. Then you got Kruger and Desmond Bryant, and you got too bad Jabal Shear's been hurt. But man, that line is so depthful that the defense is strong.
Oh, we knew that we were going to be strong with linebackers. One of the problems I saw earlier during the year was the ability for the linebacker to play in space and cover those intermediate passing routes. But I think with the addition of Mingo in there, and you're seeing Mingo's all over the field, Joe. This guy's playing the pass, he's playing the run, he's sacking the quarterback. Mingo brings a lot of talent to this Cleveland Browns defense, and it's helping guys like DeQuell Jackson and Craig Robertson to get in there and make some big plays, man. And I think we're going to see a continuation of that come Thursday night. And I'm liking what I'm seeing out of this Buster Skrine. I think he's onto something. I don't know if you heard my new phrase yet, Joe. It's in Brian Hoyer we trust, because Brandon Weeden was a bust. Huh? What do you think, man?
I've seen that. I think it's pretty cool. I like that.
I sent Brandon Weeden a tweet yesterday to show you what kind of guy I am, Joe. I said, Brandon, if you need help packing your stuff up for the move out of Cleveland, let me know, because I understand with a sore hand how hard it is to pack your belongings,
I know, bro. And since he's been sitting on the pines, man, it seems like you've settled in. You're calmed down now. There ain't no quarterback controversies, and now you're back to normal, having fun following the Browns on, and watching, especially
Joe,
on offense.
the excitement level is back in Cleveland Browns football, and for the last 17 games that were full of Brandon Weeden, the excitement level was next to none. You know what the answer to the question was? They asked Brandon Weeden a question, and the question was, have you learned anything over the last 2 weeks watching Brian Hoyer start? You know what Weeden's response was, Joe?
No, go ahead.
Don't get hurt. This was the response. Don't get hurt. In other words, he didn't learn nothing, Joe. Watching this kid.
Right, go ahead.
Watching this kid, the way he quickly releases the football. Let's face it. Brian Hoyer is playing with the same exact offensive line in front of him as Brandon Whedon was. But you know what? This Hoyer has such a quick release. Another thing I want to get into, Joe, a lot of Browns fans are going, oh, we've seen this before with Anderson. Well, I got to tell you, Joe, this is no Derek Anderson, man. This is a guy, Brian Hoyer, that had the privilege of sitting in meetings, sitting next to, playing football with one of the best quarterbacks that will go down in the history of NFL of being the very best, if not one of the best, because unfortunately he's right in there with Peyton Manning, and that's Tom Brady, man. This guy has Brady-esque moves as far as avoiding the pass rush, and as far as, this guy has made our offensive line look better because he's not back there holding the football for 10 seconds. You know what I'm talking about, Joe?
Sure, and plus he's, like I said, Hoyer's been an understudy. You ask him the same question you're asking Brandon Whedon, hey, what'd you learn? And you could tell Brian Hoyer, what'd you learn, Brian? And he'll tell you a whole full story what he's learned because he's showing it on the field. Brandon Whedon, he can't move. He can throw, but I tell you what, he just doesn't move, and it kills us. It's like he's like cement cleats back there, man.
Absolutely.
And he just can't throw. I mean, he doesn't have it, man. He reminds me of Charlie Fry. That's what he reminds me of.
With a better arm.
Strong arm. Stronger arm. Can't move though. The same both can't move, and he can't read defense.
You know what, Joe? There's no way. If you look at, let's talk numbers for a second here, Joe. In the first two games of Brian Hoyer, he's thrown for 590 yards. That's 74 more yards than Brandon Whedon has thrown for. If you watched the game yesterday, you notice Best dropped a couple passes. Josh Gordon dropped a couple passes yesterday. Hoyer's faced with the same thing, the dropped football, man. We saw it in his first game, the very first pass of the very first game. Best was cutting across the middle. Hoyer hits him right on the numbers. He drops the football. Does it bother this kid? There's nothing that bothers this kid, man. He's got a mental toughness that we haven't seen at the quarterback position since Bernie Kosar, man.
I tell you what, and what's so great about this is, what a great story to tell. This kid graduated in '94 from
St. Ignatius.
Ignatius, yeah, and it's just being a hometown boy like that. I mean, that is awesome. I mean, that's great.
Joe, maybe this is what we needed, a hometown coach, a hometown quarterback. These guys know what it means, the legacy of Cleveland Browns football. And if you think about this is the first time we've had people on this team that's known what the legacy of Cleveland Browns football has been all about in how many years, Joe? I mean, when's the last time we had these guys on the Cleveland Browns football? I got to tell you, the first couple of weeks I was a little concerned maybe this wasn't the right coaching staff because Chizinski's an unproven coach. But I got to tell you, making the move to sit Brandon Whedon on his butt and keep him the hell away from our football team, that's showing me this guy's got chutzpah, and he's not going to sit back and let this Cleveland Browns team lose. Another big deal was all these crybaby Cleveland fans that were whining and crying how this is it, the Cleveland Browns are done the moment they traded Trent Richardson. Come on, people. Don't you remember the glory days of Cleveland Browns football, Joe, when we had Kevin Mack, Ernest Biner, Leroy Kelly, a bunch of running backs in that backfield, Greg Pruitt, Mike Pruitt. These guys ran the football. This was no bullshit when you can't even get 100 yards in one football game. Trent Richardson carried the ball 20 times yesterday in Indianapolis for 60 yards, Joe.
Let me make a comparison there. I mean, at first, I have to admit, I was like, that first day when he got traded, I thought maybe the Browns get up too soon on him. But then, as time has gone on, I'm rethinking this whole thing and thinking the coaching staff and upstairs are seeing something in this kid that he may not be the number one pick that was supposed to meant to be a great running back. I don't think he's hitting the holes fast enough.
No, Joe, he's in the dancing around, man. He dances around back there.
Yeah. And look at this now. Look at the way the offense it's set up right now. You got Abanye, and you got this other guy, I forget, 34, old Greg Coach number, I forget his name.
Raines, Bobby Raines.
Yeah, Bobby Raines. These guys right here, and the guy that got hurt, Lewis, that got hurt.
Oh, my God, that Lewis was phenomenal, Joe.
Now, look at these running back styles, though. What I'm trying to do is make a comparison here. You got Hoyer. Does he not remind you a little bit like Phillip Rivers?
Right.
A little bit?
A little bit.
Okay, now a little bit. Now look at the running backs. They've gone from the power running back like Bridgerton, to these scat backs. They've been like Tomlinson when he was in San Diego, and when Turner was there, it was Tomlinson being a scat back and River back there. It reminds me of the way the offense that Turner's running from San Diego to here.
Don't forget this. Norv Turner had some great players in Dallas, man, when he was the offensive coordinator there with Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith.
Sure. Yep, he did.
Emmitt Smith was no slouch, man.
You got Ray Horton. Ray Horton's done a phenomenal job with his defense. The special teams hasn't played bad. I mean, I know Cudniff missed 2 field goals yesterday.
Oh my God, Joe!
I don't know if he's still completely healthy, or is he still got a pulled muscle?
Well, I got to tell you, that's the only weak link of this football team that I can see right now is Billy Condiff. I don't think he was the right kicker, but he's a kicker, and we should have went and got that guy the Kickalicious guy, Joe, that the Detroit Lions had up there trying out. This guy,
Harvard, the guy from Harvard,
right? Yeah,
from Harvard or something. Yeah,
I think we should have tried him, man.
Yeah, we should have given it a try, but we'll see how this guy does, because you can't miss field goals like that, because that was 6 points more that we could have had.
Oh, we would have had 23 to 6, yeah. Joe.
Yeah, we can't have missed that, especially when a game's on the line. You can't do it. But this
my God.
I like this punter that we got, this Lanning.
Oh, yeah. This kid is something special. Yeah, he could kick
Yeah.
field goals too, Joe, if the need be. I wouldn't be embarrassed to put that kid out there and say, "Kick me a field goal." I think we could count on him a little bit more than we could count on Condiff. But getting back to the running back position, we released Montario Hardesty this afternoon, Joe. I think there's another guy we did about 5 o'clock. We got rid of him. We got rid of Cooper. But you know what, Hardesty? We saw it last season. This guy could hit the hole. We saw he almost doubled yards per carry per average compared to Trent Richardson. So that just goes to show you're right, Joe. Richardson doesn't hit the hole hard enough. The kid that was rushing in Indianapolis yesterday, Brown, had 3 carries for 65 yards, Joe. He had a 21 yard per carry average. And, he was drafted 27th in the first round, and Richardson's making more money than this guy.
Sure. I tell you what, I think it took a lot of guts to make a trade like that. But now look at the hindsight 50-50. Indianapolis is not guaranteed a playoff spot. They could make it, but they could, but that draft choice could look awfully nice if it's in the middle round, first round,
Right. That's the thing. We don't know what we're going to get, but at least we got a first-round pick for somebody we wasted. As far as I'm concerned, Joe, the 2012 draft, we wasted 2 valuable first-round picks. You can see that the Pittsburgh Steelers are struggling off to a 4-0 start, which makes people in Cleveland extremely happy. But could you imagine if the Castro was on the Cleveland Browns football team, man? What a big difference that would make on this offensive line to have a DeCastro there instead of wasting that pick on Whedon. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yep.
We wasted that pick on Whedon, man. So we could have had
I'm really disappointed in Holmgren because, how would you dare draft a guy that's 28 years old as a first-round pick? I see a third-round pick, but not a first-round pick.
And I guarantee you this guy wasn't going in the first round had the Cleveland Browns not taken him, Joe.
I would have taken, I know Russell Wilson doesn't have the size, but
Russell Wilson was a third-round pick, man.
Yeah, I would have taken Russell Wilson if they're looking for quarterback. You need to impact player. Look what Lombardi did this year. He took Bark Mingo, and that guy's going to be a beast. Now I think this offseason, when the Browns are going to see that they're a little lagging behind from the defensive side on the offensive side, and they're going to build the offensive up. They're going to get a running back. They're going to get a wide receiver. They're going to get offensive tackle. And if a quarterback's there that they want, then they're going to draft them. So I think they're going to be drafted on the offensive side of the ball this year.
Yeah, I think you're right, Joe. I think we definitely need. I don't know what's going to happen with Greg Little. It was interesting to see him returning kickoffs yesterday. That's a good spot for him. He's a threat. He was a running back in college. Unless this guy makes vast improvements. One thing I got to tell you, I like Greg Little, Joe. The guy has the moves. He can make separation on the field. His size is good. He can run people over, but he can't catch the football consistently. If we could only get Greg Little to catch that football consistently, then you got a Gordon and a Greg Little that can actually catch a football. You got some big threats right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just too bad he's just not more consistent on it. And take them stupid gloves off and catch with your hands. And look at Devon Best. He's a third wide receiver. They could have three great wide receivers right there. You know?
Yeah.
And it's too bad he's struggling. I mean, I know he doesn't like to drop passes, but he just has all the talent around him, and he just needs to concentrate more.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it because his size is good. Like I said, his ability to run after a catch is fantastic. The guy's big, he's quick, he's fast, he runs the routes really nice. He just needs to catch the frickin' football, Joe. I mean, that's what he's getting paid for. But I'm excited. I'm thinking we're going to see 3 wins in a row, Joe. And if we see 3 Browns wins in a row, I would say it's time for Brandon Whedon to order one of them pods containers and have it delivered to his driveway. So he could start packing his belongings. I mean,
you make the call to those pod company and order of you right in front of his doorstep.
I mean, there's absolutely no way that you could ever see Whedon getting back in a Cleveland Browns football game, barring injury, if this Hoyer wins Thursday night. Is there, Joe?
No, I mean he's going to have to. I tell you what, only by again, like you said, injury, which we hope we don't see any more of this.
Right.
Stuff, But there's nice stability on a quarterback position is key. Quarterback is the most important position on a football team, and that's Peyton Manning. What he's doing at Denver. I mean, the guy just lights out.
Unbelievable.
And who would have thought? Who would have thought like the Giants or somebody like that, or 0-4. Kansas City's 4-0 with Alex Smith, a whole new first-year offensive system and a new coach. You know, and how do you? I mean, you just can't figure that stuff.
Well, look at this. You got the Seattle Seahawks at 4-0 with a second-year quarterback, and Whedon is so far behind the class of these guys, like a Russell Wilson or Alex Smith. I mean, this is he's an uncompatible player. He's a failed baseball pitcher, Joe. That's why he holds on to the ball so long. He has to think about the target too much, and that's what they train you in Major League Baseball. There's no quickness with delivering pitches. This is a league where you got trained killers trying to get you on defense, and every year these defenses get bigger and faster and stronger. Joe, we're going to end the show in about 35 seconds. Any last thoughts you want to pass out before we go, man?
I just want to keep Cleveland fire up Wednesday night and Thursday night and make Cleveland proud and our teams take care of business and see the Indians go against the Boston Red Sox and then see the Browns keep winning and just showing respect. And if they finish 500 this year, LG, that's a heck of a step forward.
You know, Joe, I'm telling you, man. I posted it on Facebook as soon as I'm thinking we could go if this team stays healthy. The defense I'm thinking 9-7, man. I'm thinking a winning season, not 500. I could see 8-8 or 9-7, man.
I'll take it, man. And you don't know, 9-7 could sneak through a back door in the playoffs, but it just depends how the wild card falls. But I'd take that 9-7 record and move forward. Get the offense caught up to the defense's talent level.
9-7.
Make a move.
9-7. We may take the AFC North this year. Well, thanks for calling, Joe. God bless you, man. Go Tribe, go Browns. We'll talk to you next week, Joe.
You got it. Thanks, LG. Thanks for having me on. And like I said, go Browns, go Tribe, man.
Hey, my pleasure, man.
You too, bro.
All right, buddy. There you have it, folks. Joe Monaco all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. Don't forget, tomorrow night, 6 p.m., it's the You Gotta Be Freaking Kidding Me show with your host, Jeff Leaf. And ladies and gentlemen, we got a big show coming up here Thursday night at 7 p.m. The Sports Outreach Ministries special guest in the house coming off of his big win against Julio Diaz. It's none other than Showtime Sean Porter, the future welterweight champion of the world. And I'm sure Kenny Porter, his trainer, will be right along with him. God bless you. Go Indians. Bring us a win on that wild card Wednesday night. Cleveland Browns, I'm predicting another victory, 24-10. Cleveland Thursday night, 3 in a row Browns. It's going to be an exciting town in this town on Thursday and Wednesday and Friday morning when you get up for work. You're going to be in one hell of a good mood, especially with another Brian Hoyer victory. Until then, next Monday at 7 p.m., it's LG out, baby. We'll see you. God bless. Take care. Get out of here.